Okay, good morning. Shalom's here. Okay, today we're going to start on the top of Daf Pei, directly on the top. Dr. Stein for taking over Daf Hayin Tes. Okay. So we're learning about, well, first of all, we thank Hashem, we're able to learn Torah every day. There's chus of our learning, we should have the Beis Hamikdash immediately. And also, we're learning in memory of Zahav Golda Bas Baruch Ben Yamin. So we're right on top of Daf Pei. It says "V'tabach lekech v'sheichet lekech v'sheya b'vad shleisha aguna shabem lamed yom." We're learning about raising small animals in Eretz Yisrael, and the problem with that was that they would graze in other people's fields. It would be similar to our problem that we have here with iguanas. They just eat your everything that you're trying to grow. And everyone just gets upset about it. So you really weren't allowed to do that unless there was special need and you needed to slaughter it for your son's wedding, or it was for the holiday and you needed it for sacrifices.
Iguanas they use for sacrifice?
Not iguanas. Talking about the small animals like sheep and goats and that stuff. So a butcher, we're learning, that gets a bunch of animals ready for the market day is allowed to do that, and then he's going to shecht it when it comes to market day. He can hold on to it as long as he doesn't wait after the market day, the 30 days. It's really just like we said before, that it's only up until the holiday. The same thing as until the market day. Okay. Yeah, well, the 30 days before the holidays is associated with this because you prepare for the holiday 30 days. Okay, Shalu Talmida Rabban Gamliel. Students asked Rabban Gamliel, Mal Gadol, are you allowed to raise small animals in Eretz Yisrael? Amalem Mutter said, yes, it's not a problem. You're allowed to. Gemara says, Tanan, but in our Mishnah says, Ein Megadlin, you're not allowed to. What was Rabban Gamliel saying? Rather, they asked him a little different. Mal Lishes, are you allowed to hold on to them? Not to have a farm of small animals, but just to buy them and to hold them until you need them. He said it's allowed, as long as you don't let it go out and graze in flocks. You have to keep it inside and tie it to your bed. Yeah, remember the Chalav Yisrael joke with this guy used to always ask his Rebbe for a bracha for parnasa. So he stopped asking. So the Rebbe sees him. He says, "What happened? How come you stopped asking?" He says, "Oh, I have parnasa. Now the Rebbe says, "What do you do?" He says, "I got a cow, and it gives milk. I sell the milk." So he says, "But you're in the city. How do you have a cow in the city?" He says, "Oh, it's not a problem. I feed the cow milk, and the cow gives milk." He said, "How much do you feed it, and how much does it give?" So I feed it a gallon, and it gives a gallon. He said, "That doesn't sound like much of a business." So he said, "Yeah, but I feed it chalav akum, and it gives chalav Yisrael." Okay. So okay. Anyway, somehow you keep your animals tied to your bed. That's a price difference. There's a price difference. That's it. So Tanur Rabbanan. Yeah. Well, actually, you're supposed to feed the majority of your animal feed is supposed to be kosher, or else it affects the. Tanur Rabbanan. That's why the Frum community didn't have an issue with mad cow disease in England, You remember in England there was some mad cow disease in the 90s, and if you kept kosher, you didn't have that issue.
They fed their
Because
cows.
the cows have to be fed regular food. Yeah. They wouldn't take blood from me because I lived in England in the 90s. They were concerned about contaminated mad cow. There's a story of a chassid that was groaning with his heart. I'm not sure exactly what that means. It says kav halev. I don't know if kav halev means that he has pain, like his worries, kav halev, like he's worried about something, or if it literally means chest pains. Like is it physical or is it emotional? I'm not sure. Anyway, they asked the doctor what to do. It sounds like it's physical. They asked doctors. Otherwise, they would have said they went to the rabbi. They asked the doctors. They said, he has to have. Sounds like he has to nurse the milk straight from the animal every morning. So you can't just buy this in the store. You have to actually have the cow. No, it's not a cow over here. It's a goat. So so he got a goat. He tied it to the bedpost. And he would nurse from the goat. So liyamim, some time went by. Friends came in to visit him. He was sick, remember? They saw the goat. They jumped back. There's an armed robber in the house, and we're coming to visit him, which means because he has this goat, that means grazing in other people's fields. That means he's a robber. They examined. They saw that everything else was perfect. He just had one sin, and that one sin was that he had a goat. Bafu, and even him, he said, he said that I know that I don't have any other sin. I just have that one sin of the goat. Now, apparently, Rabbi Gamliel said that it wasn't a problem to tie it to the bed, and he tied it to the bed. So what's the problem? Apparently, the Rabbanan argued on Rabbi Gamliel and said that it wasn't allowed. It was only up until the 30 days. Rabbi Gamliel allowed it even more than the 30 days.
Does roteach mean boiling?
I'm sorry?
Does roteach mean boiling? Was he being told to boil the milk?
I think what it means is that it was warm from the animal, as opposed to taking it out and letting it cool down.
This roteach, it begins to sound like pasteurizing.
Right. But it says yonik. Yonik means that he was nursing it. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you spoke about this, but this was yesterday's Mishnah. Was this rule about not having small domesticated animals in Eretz Yisrael? Is that the Rabbanan, or is that that's not?
It's only rabbinic law. Yeah.
Okay. And that's just to protect people's private property.
Right.
I figured out in the land, like fields everywhere.
Well, out in the fields, you were allowed to. Actually, it's at Megadlim the Midbar Shabbi Yehuda. There were places where you were allowed to. It just wasn't where there were gardens in those areas. In Midbari Shalei Yisrael, it was allowed, and in the forest, it was allowed. Yeah. Okay. Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yishmael says, some say that this was Reb Shimon Shazuri. On the side it says, from the homeowners of the Upper Galilee was my father's house. And the reason why it was destroyed, because they would let graze in the charshin. Charshin, I think, means the forest. They would let the animals graze in the forest. Now, that shouldn't be a problem. And they would also judge dinim mamnas, that means monetary cases. Instead of having 3 people on the court, they would have 1 person on the court, which that technically is allowed, but if the person is a real expert, he's allowed to do that. However, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos discourages that. Even though they had forest, next to their homes, problem is they would take their animals through a small field to get to the forest, and in that small field they would end up eating. The animals would end up eating from the person's lettuce.
Have you heard that back then you used sheep as lawnmowers?
It works. You can't grow anything else. Back then they didn't grow grass. Grass is a modern thing, right?
It came in America. The sociology on this whole thing about having a green lawn was totally anti-social. It was anti-nature.
Uh-huh.
You had gardens in your front lawn.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's very interesting to have the grass. Right.
It destroys the earth that they take it off.
What is it?
Sod farm, it's the industry in Florida. But that takes a layer of soil, so you eventually get down to the bedrock.
Wow.
By growing this crop that you need to just make.
Well, it's good for the planet to have grass. It's better to have other things.
It's terrible. Because the water doesn't even. After the first rains, it just runs up. It doesn't sink in. Whereas if you have a garden, you want to go into it.
Because the roots get deep. Tanu Rabbanan. It was taught in the Brisa. Royesh asa tshuva. There's someone that wants to do tshuva, and he owned the animals, which was problematic. You weren't supposed to own these small animals. Usually a raya is someone that is a shepherd for other people's animals. But over here it means that it's his own animals. That's you'll see. It's clear that that's what it's referring to. And ein mechayven limkar miyad. So he wants to do tshuva. So he comes to the rabbi. The rabbi says, "Well, you have to sell your the animals. You're not allowed to own them." So he doesn't have to sell them immediately when the market is down. He can sell it slowly as the need arises, but he's supposed to have a plan how to get rid of them. The same thing would apply to a convert that his non-Jewish relatives passed away and left for him dogs or pigs, so which he's not supposed to own either. We said that. Did we say that already, or is that coming up? Yeah, it's coming up. So we don't make him sell it like at the first market day. He sells it slowly. Someone that took a vow, he's going to buy a house and marry a woman in the land of Israel. We don't make him marry the first person and buy the first piece of land. And Shim says against we let the person wait until he finds a woman that's appropriate for her. Now, I wish I would have written this slightly different. I wish I would have said, why does it have to say likach isha beretz Yisrael? Is there a special mitzvah to marry Israeli women?
No, I think it's just assumed that if it's a woman in Eretz Yisrael, then she's probably a yid.
Oh, you think so? I know there's a mitzvah to buy a house in Israel, but there's no. I didn't think there would be a mitzvah to marry a woman in Israel. Settling. Oh, it means to stay there. Oh, okay. So it means likach bayis, likach isha beretz Yisrael, and then he'll stay there. Okay. Okay, fine. That makes sense. Thank you. It's a woman that was having a difficult time with her son. I guess she was a single mother, and she wasn't able to educate her child. Kafsa v'nishba. Yeah, someone told me in a certain school, a lot of the kids, the parents are divorced. So this one of the kids came home Told his parents, "God, why can't you get divorced?" He told his parents, because all his friends and parents are divorced. They said, the other kids in the class, they say, I'm going to my mom, I'm going to my dad, my dad's getting me a car, my mother's getting me this and that, so they're able to play it so much better. They get all these like extra things because my mom, my dad, my thing, So anyway, apparently this was a single mother, and she didn't have the discipline over her child. So she took an oath. She said, any man that's going to come, I'm not going to refuse him. I'm not going to turn him away. So I'm going to marry anyone. She's hoping that this guy is going to discipline her child. What is it? And the man in the house is more disciplined in the house. Yeah, she's giving it, making another. So people, bad people, heard about that. This woman doesn't say no to anyone, so they jumped to the occasion. When the matter came to the sages, it was like, oh, she took a vow, she has to. That's not what she meant. She didn't mean bad people. She meant someone that's going to be a match. That's what she meant. Okay. Shame, Shamro, just like they said, in Megalim Medaka, they're not allowed to raise small animals. You also can raise small wild animals, which would mean like a deer or a fox. Maybe they would raise foxes for strimals, right? It's just a strimal farm. You're not allowed to. Beavers, right? It's a beaver. Beaver is not associated with the fox, is it? No, it's a
guinea pigs.
That's a chazir that's coming out. Rabbi Shmuel says, Megadlin klavim, you're allowed to raise dogs.
Right.
Kufrim, klavim kufrim is supposed to go together. I think it means like dogs of the village. That's what it is, miniature dogs. That's like, does that mean like a poodle, or does that mean like the one of those little guys, those little chihuahuas?
Those are the most dangerous.
They are dangerous?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're smaller.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
It's like the terror of the vets.
Oh.
Vets always get bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're just very small.
Chatulim are cats. Kaifin are monkeys. The chuldas sinaim, and these chuldas sinaim, which I don't have a name for them. Something they grow in a bush. A bush weasel. A chulda, a bush weasel. That's good. They shasim lenakar sabayas, because they clean out the house from mice. Yesterday on the canal, I saw, the white bird with a yellow beak. It's a nice long neck. I think it's a heron. Is that a heron? It's like the neck goes like very long.
Is the beak long too?
No, the beak is not. Let's say the ibis. They have that beak. What is it? No, it's a heron. Yeah. What is it? Oh, is it igret? Igret. It could be. It's igret. That's what it is. It's igret. Anyway, I saw it was, and this dragonfly came like on a flower, on a grass right behind it. It was so fast. Turned around, grabbed it like neck shoots out, really? Grabbed it, yeah. And then it like, how it like gets it in. It's like, like it does the fish thing, Yeah. Okay. So these things clean out the house from the mice.
Whole thing here on that dog.
Oh, what does it say about the dog?
It's a special kind of breed. The pictures at the bottom. It's like a hunting dog.
That's a really long.
The Mishnah in Kalayim. What is it? It's what is it called?
Igret.
Igret. It's igret. Yeah. The heron was the other one.
Long figure. It's a big round.
Yeah.
This one. It's
the concept definition of the Aruch is that it was a small dog similar to a form of a jackal or a fox. They're used to hunt mice, cats, and the like. Also have served as pets. Saluki. a hound whose ancestors date back thousands of years. I have a picture of this male Saluki. Oh, interesting. Okay.
When it comes to small animals, kosher animals, doesn't it say elsewhere that the issue was the concern that Jews would get confused about kosher meat? They might end up buying something from a non-Jew on the representation that it was shechted by a Jew originally. Am I making that up? I thought I'd read that.
That's something else. And I think that's about giving a non-kosher meat to a non-Jew, telling him that it's kosher, because he may end up giving it back to another Jew saying, yeah, what do you mean? I bought it in the kosher store. It's kosher.
Mm-hmm.
Even though for him it didn't matter. I think that's what that was. I know that that's an issue. Yeah. Okay. Now the Gemara asks, "My chodas sinoim, what are these weasel? What's it called? Weasels of the bush?" Amar Rav Yehuda, Shartza Chartza. Shartza Chartza. It's a sheretz of Chartza. I don't know what Chartza is. Does he have any translation of Chartza? No. Maybe. Sheretz means that it's a creeping animal. Some say it's a charza or a charza that has small thighs and it grazes amongst the bushes. Pardini. My charza, what does it mean that it creeps? The mitatoi shakya, that its thighs are so small that it looks like it's slithering on the ground, as you can't tell. It's like those caterpillars. They look like they're just moving. No, they look like they're slithering, and really they have all those feet.
But these animals don't part too long.
No.
I don't know.
No,
It's just a Shabbos issue. Like people with their dogs and stuff.
Shabbos. There's not really a Shabbos issue. I mean, you have to hold the leash a certain way. You can't let more than a tefach hang out from the other end. But I think it's okay. And then there's another issue. Yeah, if it's not your dog, then you shouldn't be touching it, because you don't have it's muktzah. It's not associated with you. Yeah, but if it's your dog, it's fine. I don't know about that. I didn't know that dogs are impure. I don't know. Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. This is Rav Yehuda. He's a student of Rav. He says, "Asino atzmeinu bebavel keretz Yisrael behemadaka." Since Bavel has such a Jewish community, we made it like Eretz Yisrael, and you can't bring small animals there. Rav Ada bar Abba Rav Huna. Rav Ada bar Abba says to Rav Huna, who is also a student of Rav, he says, "Didach mai, what about your animals?" He says, "Amalei Didan." He says, "Our animals, Kaminchula Chayva, my wife Chayva, she takes care of them. She watches them. Amalei Chayva tikbrino livna." Now, there's different ways of reading this. Some say that he actually cursed her, that she should bury her son. Or what it means is he said it in a question form, which is much lighter on the, said that Chayva lost her son, like she has time for animals, like her son died. She has time just to take care of these animals. Kula shane de Ravada barava le'yekayim zayla Ravuna michayva. Chayva didn't have children all the years that Ravada Barav was alive. Ikadamrida, those that say, I guess Rav Huna may have had another wife. She would take care of his animals, yeah. But because Ravada Barava said that, so that was a curse, and she didn't have surviving children. Ikadami Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Huna said the name of Rav Sinat in Bavel Keretz Shel Behemadakta Mechias Rav LeBavel. He added in one little clause that it was only when Rav came to Bavel that we considered. You see, what happened was Rav was from Bavel, but then he moved to Eretz Yisrael to study under Rebbe. Then he came back. When he came back, he opened the yeshiva. Then it became like a real, Jewish community. Opened the kollel.
Yeah, I feel like he cursed her because she rounded the corners of sunset. Like she cut their face.
Oh, wow.
Where's that from? Getting some more information about chayva here. 33. According to Rashi, Ravada cursed chayva. Okay. Alternatively, Rav uttered these words in astonishment. Does chayva want to bury your children? Or she must be involved in washing animals, she will not be free to raise them. Okay. See Taisus for a third explanation. In Nazir 57, Ravad is reported as cursing chayva because she rounded the corners of her son's head. One second. I got this all wrong. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Not his son's head, her son's head. Okay. That's a Gemara in Nazir. Okay. This is not Chayma. It was another woman, Chayma. That was a beautiful woman that was married to Abaya and to two other men beforehand. And that both of the husbands died. This is Chayva, not Chayma. That was Chayma. I think so.
In that case, she's not allowed to marry again.
The Abaya held, yes, that was another story. That was a machlekes.
What was the reason behind
Okay.
some people not having like small pets?
I don't know. I don't know. I think some people didn't have pets because they didn't have time for pets. They had families to take care. Pets was like a thing when you had yeah, I don't know. Pets are when you're getting lonely or something. Also, yeah, on the farm, everyone had dogs. There was no issues with that. Also, the
sheep, and they were instruments of production.
Right. Also, on the farm, you don't take care of your dogs. The dogs take care of themselves. You don't like walk your dog.
Yeah, right.
They're working.
It's a working dog.
They're busy. Yeah. Okay. Rav Shmuel v'Ravasi klo lebei shavua abein. Rav Shmuel and Ravasi, they went to a bris. Shavua abein is a week of a baby. That means the bris. Amar lebei Yeshua aben. And some say they went to the house of a Pidyon aben. Yeshua is like this salvation. I mean, Pidyon means to redeem. Rav le'ayal kamid Shmuel. Rav didn't go in front of Shmuel. He wanted to let Shmuel go in first. Who's going to go through the door first? Shmuel le'ayal kamid Ravasi. Shmuel didn't want to go in front of Ravasi because Ravasi was a student of Rav, and Shmuel respected Rav. He wanted his student to go in as well. Ravasi le'ayal kamid Rav. Ravasi, of course, wasn't going to go in front of his teacher. Amri man nitrach. Who's going to be waiting outside while the others go in? Nitrach Shmuel. Shmuel will wait outside. And I see Rav and Ravasi will go in. The Gemara asks, "V'nitrach Rav or Ravasi? Why doesn't Rav or Ravasi wait outside and let Shmuel go in?" So Rav Milsa ba'almahu da'avada l'Shmuel mishamahu ma'isa delatye. So adab delatye adabri aleh adabri Rav aleh. What happened was, I think, if I remember correctly, I didn't look this up, but I think what happened was Shmuel didn't. When Rav came to Bavel, he needed the bathroom, but he was also sick, and Shmuel didn't give him a bathroom right away because he thought that would heal his from the boat. He had like some stomach sickness, maybe from the water or from something, I don't know. Anyway, Rav was in pain because he needed the bathroom, and Shmuel didn't give him one right away. So Rav cursed Shmuel that he shouldn't have any surviving children. So I think because of that, or not nothing great from his son, something like that. Anyway, is that what they say over there? Did they say something like that? I don't know. I didn't look it up. But anyway, because of that, he wanted to give extra honor to Shmuel. So even though Rav was greater than Shmuel, but he didn't want to he wanted to show extra honor just to make up for that. Does it have that story, or is it a different story?
Number 5.
Number 5. Yeah, okay, they don't say the story, but I think that's what happened over there. Okay, so Shmuel had daughters instead. Actually, the daughters, if you remember from Yavamas, his daughters were taken captive. Anyway, let's see what happens over here. Ada hachi v'hachi. Meanwhile, Asa Shunra, a cat comes, kate liyada diyanuka, and it bit off a child's hand. Isn't that terrible? Rav said, Chatul mutal hargai. Rav said that the cat is, you're allowed to kill it. You can't allow it to survive. Mishum gezel, and there's no problem to steal it. And you don't have to return it to the owner. Since we said that you're allowed to kill it, so why do you have to say that you're not allowed to let it survive? If you're allowed to kill it, then you kill it. Mar says, could have thought that maybe you're allowed to kill it. That just means that there's no prohibition if you kill it. You're allowed to kill it, and you're not the owner. So, but anyone that sees it would be allowed to kill it. Kamash Malan, that it's not just that you're allowed to kill it; it's also a mitzvah. Amri,
animal force.
yeah, like
someone you're allowed to.
Yeah, well, the court would take care of it. It's apparently Rav is saying that anyone
kills.
That's right.
Maybe
Jonathan is asking that we know about this when it kills, that you would kill the animal. Well, this is just injuring, but maybe that's enough of an issue. Yeah.
Because not necessarily by saying that you're going to kill it, or people would declare you're forbidden to keep it just because you're allowed to kill it. That's why he asked that.
So is he killing it because of its violence, or is he killing it because you weren't supposed to have it in the house anyway?
Well, there are a couple of places that list the animals that you're not only allowed but encouraged to kill just because of their propensity for violence.
Right. What are we talking about here?
It is prohibited to raise a dangerous cat which is capable of killing or harming an infant. There is no prohibition against taking this cat from its owner by force, nor is there a mitzvah to return it to its owner. Whoever finds a lost cat of this kind may keep it, and its hide belongs to the finder.
Okay. So yeah, someone actually asked me if he's allowed to what do they say when they get rid of the dog? They have a term for it. They don't say kill. Put it down.
Put it to sleep.
Put it to sleep. To put his dog to sleep. To release it. Remember in The Giver, in that book? Have it released.
Euthanize. Euthanize.
What is that? Euthanize.
Euthanize.
Euthanize. Anyway, because his dog was biting, it was attacking other dogs and biting people. I told him it's for sure allowed. Of course, you're allowed to do it. Here the Gemara says even someone else is allowed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can grab, but the owner himself for sure not supposed to have a dangerous dog.
I think that's what's happening now with the cat. This is like a dangerous cat.
Right.
Because some are like more aggressive, kind of like cheetahs, like they're more connected. There's some that are like carnivores, like sharp teeth.
Wow.
Because earlier we learned that cats are permitted as miniature dogs because they keep away the mice.
Right. Right. So this is a violent one. This would be the problem. So what happens now is, okay, Amri, they said like this.
I heard you say walk the dog. Why do you think?
While you're walking the dog.
Why do you think it took so long? She
Like the
heard
Steiners,
the
yeah.
shear, and she was so upset about all the things we were saying about her fellow Kenyans. She kept going, oh, wow, wow.
The dog wants to be on the farm.
She's a manager. She's okay.
No, Dr. Stein's dog is fine. Just the rest.
When I started to teach, so I spoke to a teacher before me to give me some advice. This guy was leaving, and I was taking over. They said, I'll give you two pieces of advice. First thing is get a book on dog training. And the second thing is, anyway, I got the Caesar's way, you know, that Caesar, you know. Anyway, I got that. And then he said, also have some chocolate in your pocket because you need energy often. So anyway. So, yeah, actually, it was actually very good advice, the dog training, because the message over there is keep them busy and work them hard. That was the idea.
My dog sleeps all day.
Okay. So, if you're allowed to steal it, what are you telling me? That you don't have to return it? What do you mean? You can even take it. We're talking about that. What about the skin? The skin, maybe you should have to return to the owner. We're saying now that you don't have to return it to the owner. You can keep the skin. Interesting. Taisus has a question. It says, if you're allowed to steal it, then why does it have to tell you that you're allowed to kill it? If you're allowed to steal it, then once you own it, then you can kill it. It's obvious to Taisus that you're just allowed to kill the animal.
Got a colorful mirror.
Not sure what he's answering.
Sorry, what is the question?
I'm not sure. Let me leave it. Okay. There's a Gemara's question. Reb Shimon ben Elazar says as a student of Reb Meir. Megadlin klavim kufrim mechatulim kufin kaifin chol desanaim neishaisim lenakar sabayas. Says that you're allowed to raise these types of dogs and cats because they clean the house. Now here Rav said that you're allowed to kill it and you're allowed to take it and all of that. The Gemara says like kasha ba'uchma b'chivra. Depends if it's a white cat or a black cat. Which one do you think is more dangerous, the white cat or the black cat?
I think the white cat.
It turns out the white cat is more dangerous. I wasn't expecting you to say that. I was expecting you to say the black cat because the black cat, it's bad luck.
Superstition.
But turns out no, the black cat is fine. It's the white cat that's the problem. But my said Rav Mahava. So why did Rav say that you can kill it? Rav, the story was with a black cat. Sounds like it was more docile. The Gemara says Hasam Uchma bar Chivra Hava. That was a black cat, but its parents were white. So, it's dangerous, a dangerous breed. It looks like it's docile, but really it's violent. But Ravina had a question about this. What's the halacha with the black cat, son of a white cat?
When the father found out that the cat was black, he had it out.
All right. There's some showing bias problems here. So, Ravina, no, Ravina's question was when the cat was black, but the father was white. But that father that was white, his father was black. So that would mean that really it comes from a genetic pool of the black ones, which are more docile, and that's why I had the question. But if it was that was just one black, not the black sheep, one black cat that was the son of a white, that's really a problem. Okay. This the next line, Chabad loves this. Chabad dich bechan simen. See, where does it say Chabad in the Gemara?
Right here.
Okay, it's actually an acronym for the sons of Rav Papa. The middle letter. Let's see. Rav Acha bar Papa, that's the Ches of Chabad. Mishum Rav Abba bar Papa, that's the Beis of Chabad. Mishum Rav Ada bar Papa, that's the Dalet of Chabad. He said, Rav Acha said in the name of Rav Abba and the name of Rav Ada. Those that said this a little different. Rav Abba bar Papa, Rav Abba bar Papa, Mishum Rav Chia bar Papa, Mishum Rav Acha bar Papa. It was Rav Abba in the name of Rav Chia and the name of Rav Acha. And there are others that said that it was Rav Abba, Mishum Rav Acha bar Papa, Mishum Rav Chanina bar Papa. Yeah.
Sounds like the Siyum of
Yeah, this is right. It says Masriyan al Achichach b'Shabbos. Now, if I remember correctly, Masriyan was a discussion in the Gemara Tainas. It meant that you blow the shofar, if it meant that you daven. But you're allowed to do whatever it is that would be problematic. You're allowed to do this on Shabbos for a plague of boils. Chichach is boils. Shchin.
If you scratch it, in order to get the process quicker, it's allowed. But if you just for the other reasons,
That's in the laws of Shabbos about opening a blister or something like that.
the Gemara, Shabbos it talks about.
Right. Yeah, that's talking about opening a blister. Right? That if you can't open a blister if you want to use the opening for the air to get inside also. That was problematic. But here we're talking about actually a plague, like a plague of boils, not a blister, plague of boils. This is such a big problem that you're allowed to daven for this on Shabbos. But usually you're not supposed to do this on Shabbos. Here you're allowed to. Once the door is closed, it doesn't open right away. Now that's a figurative expression. We're going to see what it's talking about. That you're allowed, if you buy a house in Israel, you're allowed to write the document even on Shabbos. That's how big the mitzvah is. Now we're going to see it doesn't not exactly mean the Jew writes it. You'll see in a moment. Basically, the Gemara has a question. Which is other punishments, other sufferings that come to the community, like chichach or chagav, which is like locusts, there's vuv, tzira, hornets, yitush, mosquitoes, shiloch nechashim, v'akravim, or snakes and scorpions. That and they wouldn't blow the shofar. They would just cry out. Where it says like kasha. Problem is that over here you said that boils is not a problem, and you said boils is a problem. Or the opposite. First you said boils is a problem. Now you said boils isn't a problem. It says kam balach kam biyavish. Depends what type of boils. Are they moist or are they dry? If they're dry, then that's much worse. The boils that Hashem brought on the Egyptians, lachmi bachutz v'yavish was dry on the inside and wet on the outside. That the shchin was bubbling, and it was like growing. Perech sounds like blossoming on a person and on the animals. Okay. On the outside, it was bubbling, and on the inside, it was dry. A door that's closed doesn't open right away. What's that talking about? Mazur Shamar Smicha. Mazur says it's talking about getting smicha. That if someone doesn't get smicha, the first time it doesn't, the opportunity doesn't arise so quickly again. Ravashi Amar, anyone that has bad luck, it doesn't get fixed so quickly. Ravachim Midifti Amar, it never gets fixed. But the Mendi and the Golem, remember that? If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck. Anyway, okay, Valahi. It's not so. Ravacha midifti milsad nafshehu dekamer. Ravacha was just talking about something that happened to him, which I think what happened to him was that he was supposed to become the head of the yeshiva, and then someone else became the head, and then he never made it. Something like that. Is that what they say there? Lakiach bayis beretz Yisrael. Someone buys a house in Israel. I feel b'Shabbos you're allowed to write the document on Shabbos. Shabbos al Kedaitach, you're allowed to write on Shabbos. It's a malacha deraisa. Eladama Rava Hasam, rather like Rava says, you're allowed to tell a guy to do it because it's such a big mitzvah. You're allowed to have a guy do something that's a mitzvah. Even though telling a guy to do something is a rabbinic prohibition. Because to buy a house in Israel, Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, to settle the land of Israel, the rabbis didn't make the decree about writing. I'm Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani, I'm Reb Yonason. Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani says the name of Reb Yonason. Someone buys a city in Israel. Now he's buying a whole city. Now, they want Israel to be set up properly. You have to make roads. He has to make roads from all four sides of it so that people could come to that city, not just one road comes up the front path. Has to have a road from each side. This is for a city.
He's making.
Okay, let's leave it over here.
But here they're allowed to ask the country like directly, or it would have to be like
I think directly.